Hello, welcome back to Soil Talk. I'm your host Atkinson. So today we're in the field and I'll be showing you how to properly collect soil samples for soil fertility analysis. Now this is a very simple process and you don't need to pay anyone to collect soil samples. But one thing that you just keep in mind is that when collecting soil samples, it needs to be representative of the whole field. And what we call the whole field is a field with the same soil type. You can see differences in soil type in terms of texture, like how grainy the soil is. You can see differences in soil type in terms of soil color. When you see differences in soil color, you have to demarcate that as two fields. Do not take your soil samples on the roads, and do not take your soil samples in an area in the field where you usually pile up your fertilizers when you're applying your fertilizers in the field. So I've got the field behind me. It's also got the same cropping history. Now if you have had different cropping history and different fertilizer management in the field, then you should also demarcate that and treat that as a separate field. In taking soil samples, it needs to be representative of the whole field. Because there are many variations in soil fertility that you find in the field, you have to collect at least 20 samples per hectare. So how you do that is you take individual soil samples, you mix them together, and you come up with one composite sample that you then submit to soil testing companies for analysis. So when taking soil samples, what you just need is a shovel. If you've got a shovel, if you've got a hoe, that's what you will use. If you've got a small hand trowel, you can also use that, right? As long as whatever tool you are using, you can dig up to at least 15 centimeters down, between 15 to 20 centimeters, because that's where the rooting depth is. That's where we'll collect the soil sample from. And so this is how you collect your soil sample. First, make a V in the soil. You have to dig a little bit. So it should be between 15 to 20 centimeters down, because that's where the rooting depth is. So you keep on digging. So it should be 15 centimeters from here going down there. And when you have reached at least 15 centimeters, but not more than 20 centimeters, then you can collect your soil sample. And how you do that is you make a slice and you try to make it as uniform as possible, going down, because we need relatively the same quantities going down the depth. Because at the top there is the topsoil, which is more fertile, but when you go down to the rooting depth, there is also the soil that might have less nutrients, but it's within the rooting depth. So if this is at least 15 centimeters or between 15 to 20 centimeters, that's the soil that you take. Now here's a video of soil sampling on a different date, but I'm just showing you the same thing. But the only difference with this video is that I was trimming the edges, so you can also trim the edges to kind of improve consistency, so that your sample is kind of consistent, like the sample that you take going down the depth and also going horizontally, that you are taking relatively the same amounts. So you put the sample in a bucket, in a clean bucket, you break it apart, you take another sample from a different place in the same field, you put it in the same bucket, you mix them together until you reach 20 samples. And when you mix that together, then you can have your composite sample.